Hello. So I'm just coming off of my Holly Golightly inspired look for Diamonds and Dames. So check that out if you haven't seen it yet. It's actually very, very easy. But anyway, I have a cough drop in my mouth. I have a cold. I wanted to do this review for you today, however, because this is a review that all of you have really been awaiting. I did a review for Lauren Rennells' book, Vintage Hairstyling, some time ago, and that book exceeded my expectations. I actually gushed in that video because I did not expect the book to be as great as it was. And in this case, I had really high expectations for the new book she has out, which is called Retro Makeup. I had very high expectations for it because, of course, I was comparing it to the original, or the first book of hers that I reviewed. I actually did a Starlet series a year or two ago, and basically that was a series that was designed to go through the decades and recreate movie star looks from the 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s through the 80s. And I actually did those looks based on what I saw in the movies. So some of them, they were extremely theatrical and some of them looked completely drag, but that was just kind of the style on screen for movie starlets back in the day. So this book, I kind of expected to do that same thing. I expected it to teach you how to do the makeup for the theatrical appeal. The coolest thing about this book, and the point that I take away from it above anything else, is the fact that every look in this book, for the most part, is very wearable. She has found a way to make vintage and retro style makeup look completely wearable, not only for those of us who are really into wearing a vintage style on a daily basis, but pretty much anybody. So I wanted to show you a few things in it. This book also deals a lot more with the history of makeup than the other book dealt with the history of hairstyling and all of that. That book had a lot about technique, a lot about tools and things like that at the beginning. There is a little bit about tools, a little bit about, technique in this book, but for the most part, it has a very much a historical edge on other beauty books of its time. Wanted to show you a few things. There are facts in this book that I would never have known otherwise. Of course, she has the same wonderful style of the book where she actually uses vintage ads alongside a beautiful photographs of original vintage, compacts and products that were used back then. She has a whole page on face brushes that you need to achieve a vintage look now in an easier way. It discusses contouring, brow shaping, everything. One of the things that I was most surprised about when I opened this book is this girl. That's my friend Holly. No, I opened up the book. I had no idea. I opened up the book, and there's Holly. She's my friend from Temperamental Broad, the blog, Temperamental Broad. I'll link her blog down below. I had no idea she was in the book. If I was going to be in this book, I would have been, shouting it to the heavens. But anyway, she's in here several times, and she looks absolutely gorgeous. Recreating vintage ads. Anyway, check out her blog. That's a side thought. But anyway, it talks about one of the things that I really, really love is there are techniques in here that I've never seen before that actually are really great techniques. But this page here actually compares skin tones and tells you what shade of red lipstick, since red lipstick is the most indicative of a vintage look, it tells you what shade of red lipstick you should wear for your skin. It's just a great, great idea. Some of the interesting things that are in it, like this look here, is inspired by, of course, Louise Brooks. And it's a very wearable Louise Brooks. Yes, it's harsh, but it's dramatic for evening. I think it would be perfect for evening. And look at these great little things here. Like there's these extra little touches at the end of some of the tutorials. And they talk about things that were done for the sake of beauty in this era, such as in the 20s. It was a trend to blush your earlobes or the palms of your hands, to put rouge on those areas. I just thought that was so interesting. I knew that they rouged their knees, but I did not know that about the palms of the hands. Very cool. I guess that anything they wanted to draw attention to. I also wanted to show you in the 1930s, this look here is a look that you really don't see recreated much, but Anna May Wong was a very, very popular Asian actress in the 30s, and as you can see, this is a look that kind of channels her style with the smile, the lipstick painted in a way that it looks like a smile. It's a very big deal. I thought this was just an absolutely beautiful look. Yes, the eyebrows are very thin, but if you didn't want to go with something quite that theatrical, you could make the eyebrows a little thicker and it would be an even more wearable look. But considering the fact that these are 1930s reproduction looks, or these are reproductions of 1930s looks, they're still much more wearable than they would be if you did them straight from the movies. I thought this was an amazing quote. This is an example of some of the historical research that she's done. This page is entitled World War II and Makeup at Work. I love this. This is from Technique for Beauty, which was produced in the UK in 1940. It says, "The stress and strain of war can easily make you lose interest in your personal appearance, but it is up to you to take care of yourself for the sake of other people." Emphasis mine. And this is a Tangy ad. In World War II, they used it to sell lipstick. "A woman's lipstick is an instrument of personal morale that helps her to conceal heartbreak or sorrow, gives her self-confidence when it's badly needed, heightens her loveliness when she wants to look her loveliest." And this is absolutely my favorite quote in the whole book. 1943, Barbara Gould Cosmetics reminded women that America expects its women to keep busy and keep beautiful. Now, people may think that's like sexist, and they might think that that's so dated. It is so not dated. People, they still expect us to work and be beautiful. You know they do, because when when the media attacks these women for going, I'm so sorry about the cough drop, y'all. But anyway, when the media attacks these women for going out in public looking like crap, or when What Not to Wear attacks these women for going out in public without makeup or with sloppy clothes on, why do they do that? It's because they are expecting us all to stay as attractive as possible. Anyway, look at this photo. There's this woman looking in that isn't twins. I thought it was two women at first. It's a woman looking in a really bright sheet of metal, putting her lipstick on in her factory attire. I love it. I love it. I love the attention to glamour back in those days. But anyway, this was also really interesting to me. Back in that same book, Technique for Beauty, which I'm going to buy, I've decided, it's Jane Gordon wrote, "Helena Rubinstein has also brought out a brand new lipstick especially made for blackout conditions. This is a very dark, luminous lipstick which includes special ingredients to make the lips glow." Isn't that cool? Okay, so anyway, now we're into the 40s. And let me see if there was one specific look I wanted to show you. This is by far probably the most natural look in the book, and it channels the style of Ingrid Bergman, the way that she appeared whenever she was, whenever she was not in a glamorous role. It's very similar. It's called the Ilsa, so it's very similar to how her makeup was supposed to come off in the film Casablanca, of course. It is impossibly simple. It's so simple that it almost makes it silly not to wear makeup. It's very simple, and it's so beautiful, and it's really like, look, 3 steps. That's pretty much it, besides eyebrows. So she teaches you in this book that the key to getting these vintage looks is not how much makeup you wear. It's the shape of the mouth, the shape of the eyebrows, things like that, things that you would probably take for granted. My favorite look that I have actually used in this book, and I've been using it regularly, is this one. This is a Marilyn Monroe-inspired makeup for daytime. It's one of the more soft looks that she wore. It could also be seen on Kim Novak. But see the angular eyebrow and the lips, the full bow of the lips? That's really the key to it. The makeup is extremely simple. A fabulous vintage style for makeup for day, especially for women that are mature, because you don't want things to look too harsh, but it still gives you very much a retro feel to your makeup, and it is beautiful. I love the pink lips. Everything about it is perfect. And then it also has a more glamorous Marilyn Monroe-inspired makeup, which is just gorgeous and also very simple. Okay, so I think that's all the pages I wanted to bring out expressly. Of course, it goes in, once it gets into the 60s, it goes into all the popular eyeliners in the 60s. and things like that. You will have a ball reading this book. There is no doubt in my mind. I want all of you to order it right away. I'm going to provide a link below. Do as I say immediately. And I guess that's all I was going to say about it. I think that it's definitely something that you should check into. And let me see cons. You guys know I like to be as honest as possible. I don't really have any cons with this book. I have some complaints. One complaint in particular. This is the final tutorial talking about the Cleopatra-inspired makeup of the 1960s. And that's the bibliography. It made me sad. The only real complaint that I have with this book is that it drops off so suddenly. I wanted there to be some type of big pow of a conclusion. I wanted there to be something. I don't know. I think it's just because I was enjoying it so much. But it had this wonderful introduction and this wonderful, history of makeup. And then it just dropped off and I was all sad. But that's really my only complaint. And I think a lot of people might feel that the makeup application, like tutorials in the book, are extremely simple, almost to a fault. I don't feel that way. I feel like it gives you a lot of leeway for altering the look a bit, making it your own. And I also feel like it just gives you more tips about eyebrow, like I said, eyebrow shape, lip shape, and maybe colors than it does about, step-by-step tedious application process. So yes, it is very simple. And if you are a novice at makeup, it is going to take some practice to get your makeup looking the way that it looks on these models. But that is the case with pretty much any photo tutorials for makeup. So I think that what she did here was a really phenomenal job. And I think that the simple style of the makeup techniques makes the book more about makeup and why we love it than it makes it about here's how you do this. It gets you more into the feel of the era that you're into. It gets you more into the feel of the makeup look that you're going for than it really gets you into step-by-step painstaking processes. So okay, that's the book. Go order it.